In all my time playing Soulsborne video games, the original Demon Souls on the PS3, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, by the way, did you know there are people who actually like Dark Souls 2? Jokes aside, I played Sekiro and Bloodborne, never finished them, I'm not a fraud, it's just, I got lost. But in all my times playing these games, I have never given a shit about the lore. And I've been completely fine with that. Don't get me wrong, I might have looked up some things here and there, never actually paid attention to the plot until Elden Ring came along. For some reason, it completely hooked me. Well, actually, I do know the reason. It was one character in particular, Iji. Iji is my favorite character in the game because he got me into the lore. And I know you're sitting there thinking, Iji of all characters? I forgot this dude existed. But it's just like, listen man, look at all the NPCs in this game. Everybody's either crazy or laughing at you maniacally while you're still standing beside them.
Look at this rotten whore. No more children can be got from this useless flesh. Behold, your mother is dead.
Nobody in this game is normal, and Iji came off as a considerate, intellectual individual, didn't come off condescending or insane. For me, it was like the only person I had met in this game who actually sounded normal and chill, so I was like, you know what? I fuck with this guy. So I stopped going to the round table blacksmith altogether. I needed somber smithing stones for my mage anyway, so it all worked out. Everything was chill until... They killed my nigga, man. I said, what the? How? Why? Who? Bro, I know it's just a video game and these are just NPCs, but I was actually kind of pissed about it. Like, so much so that I wanted revenge for Iji. And I know I'm not the only one because I saw some messages with like 2 likes, but still, I'm not the only one. Anyway, all I had to go off of really were these black flames that surrounded the area. So got to Googling, found out it was the Black Knife Assassin. So in my eyes, these guys had to die. I literally searched them up all on the map just to kill them. But that wasn't enough for me. I wasn't satisfied just killing some nameless assassins who might or might not have had part in the assassination. I wanted to know who was behind it all. Who do I gotta kill to really avenge my homie? Do some further lore digging and I find out that the Black Knife Assassins originally worked for Ranni and they were cutting up Godwyn at the beginning cutscene. So why would Black Knife Assassins that worked with Ranni attack her follower? Either Ranni got betrayed or her follower got betrayed. I didn't know what to believe, bro. I didn't even know what I was doing it for anymore. So if anybody has figured out who the Black Knife Assassins were truly working for, please let me know because I still don't really know. So why did I even tell you that goofy ass story? Well, I want to talk about how Elden Ring compels you to enjoy its story. See, the Soulsborne style of storytelling is perfect for me. I love how they just drop you in the world. Similar to Breath of Wild, where you just go. No instructions, or very minimal instructions. Very minimal story beats or storytelling. Arguably none at all, and you just go. Basically just a game with a lot of backstories, lore, and a very esoteric way of storytelling. This is perfect for me and my undiagnosed ADHD brain. Ever since the original Last of Us, which is a great game, don't get me wrong, I feel like a lot of studios have wanted to create these movie-esque blockbuster types of stories, and they forget that we're playing a video game. A lot of games will be called like walking simulators is the term, and I feel that. I absolutely hate when I'm playing a game and the game is constantly taking agency away from me, whether that be to tell me some sort of tutorial or to tell the story. I think Last of Us did it well, but too many games try to copy that style of storytelling and I just don't enjoy it that much. When I'm playing a game, I want to be playing the game, and if I feel like engaging with the story, let me engage with it at my own pace, don't force it on me. That's why these stories feel so much more compelling, because you actually want to know what happens, rather than it be a necessity or the main focus in a lot of other games. For me, it was Iji, but I'm sure this happened to a lot of other players, maybe with Bach the Seamstress, or Stellan, I think her name is, the Magician. Look, we all know these NPCs in these games are always going to have a tragic fate, with them dying, with you fighting them to the death, or both. That's just how these games work. So I guess it was stupid of me to get emotionally attached to any NPC in this game, but here we are. I think it's the fact that the characters are such characters. They're just really odd, and that kind of gets you easily attached to them. So when their quest ends and the inevitable sad part comes around, well, that's how you emotionally invest the player base. My last point is that these games, the storytelling is interactive. It's a very underrated way to tell stories in games. Like, it's telling a story that can only be told through the video game, using item descriptions, talking with NPCs, giving them items that activates a certain cutscene, or just doing some weird obscure thing like talking to them 3 times or dancing around in a circle to make them do something different. It's all interactive. The fact that you have to invade people to continue Moog's questline, the fact that you have to tell Bach he's beautiful, stuff like that. Even the environmental storytelling. The thing about all this is that it's engaging. It holds your focus and your interest. I've told you I have undiagnosed ADD. When they take away control from me, I'm liable to fall asleep in the middle of a cutscene. It's why I can't play gacha games anymore. So much yapping. Like, bruh, sometimes the yapping's more than the video game in some of these games. I think the Nier series is also like the perfect example of this. Games that use the medium of gaming to actually tell the story. Sounds crazy, but it's a concept I feel like more games should adopt. If you can have the spectacle while also having me interact with a video game, which is like the point of video games, then I'm sold. So real quick, post-editing is like fate. I was editing this video, listening to this YouTuber, and the GOAT himself, Mr. Sakurai, the creator of Super Smash Bros., was verbatim saying what I'm saying in this video, so I know I'm onto something.
Now, in Sakurai's latest video here on YouTube titled Start with the Climax, Planning and Game Design, he makes it very clear that game pacing is very important in game development, and that if you're making the game, don't fill it with all of these large cutscenes at the beginning of the game. Now, he says specifically that if you're going to make a game, consider kicking things off with a climatic scene right from the start. He goes on to say that the intro sequence of a game is extremely important, and yet I feel as though many games out there tend to be slow starters. They flesh out the protagonist's backstory, the world customs, their relationships with their friends, all for a long time. It's better to lead with a climatic event if you have one. With games in particular, players really want to take control and find out about your game. While it's okay to have events slowly unfold amidst the characters' daily lives, if you're going to do that, try to hand control to the player as soon as possible. In my opinion, you're best off bringing a narrative peak to the front of the story. If this doesn't work with the game structure, at least try to keep the opening short. In short, try to get players up and at 'em right from the get-go.
So yeah, that's why I find Soulsborne storytelling to be perfect for me. The fact that there's barely a story at all, so you can just get compelled to search for it in the lore. The fact that the NPCs are so memeable, so memorable, and the fact that the story is actually getting me to interact with the video game rather than me just watching a cutscene. As for why I found Elden Ring to be way more interesting than the other Souls games, I have no idea. Maybe it's that George R.R. Martin money that they're throwing around. But y'all let me know why you guys like Elden Ring lore so much. Did you guys always like lore, or did you guys get into it just now because of the hype? Were you always about it in the other games? And why do you guys think that like people gravitate to Elden Ring compared to the other game? Let me know. Peace.